Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the BrickCityBlockade.com podcast network. It's a little special show called Make the Jump here again from the podcast network. And of course, sitting across from me is Mr. Caden Stetler of Rebel Cause, Rebel Chatter Lancaster. Caden, how's it going, my friend?
Pretty good, man. How's it going, Rebels? As I always say, I guess tonight we had a good night. We did a live stream, had a little cool thing happen. I don't actually know if you publicly announced that yet. So
No, and this is actually a really cool format to do this. I know we don't necessarily have people listening right now. However, they may listen to this in a future episode here, obviously. Um, but all of you who are on Facebook and have been fantastic supports of the BrickCityBlockade.com podcast network, and of course Rebel Cause, Rebel Chatter, you all know the guy by the name of Andrew Merton Garish. He actually doesn't live that far away from where the podcast network is based in New Hampshire. And you guys have probably seen him a lot when we do the Knights of the Order discussion group. And we're really excited. We actually just recently, probably within the last couple of hours, got off of a live discussion with him. And we want to welcome Andrew Garish to the podcast network with his Wednesday night live stream, now called Words of the Wills. You might have known it as Knights of the Order. However, Words of the Wills is going to be the podcast network name, and we're really excited to bring that discussion. Andrew is super excited. And Caden, one of the things that I think is so great about adding Andrew onto this network is, we've had so many different conversations. He is such a supporter of the network, what Rebel Cause does, and I cannot say enough fantastic things about this guy. I mean, the interactions have been simply amazing. And this guy knows his Star Wars too, which has just made it that much easier of an addition to what we do.
Oh, absolutely, man. And you know what? Star Wars aside, I mean, this guy's become one of my closest friends. Just like honestly, like us three talk pretty much constantly throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like every day.
Every day.
And it's so crazy it's a thing in this new generation that we're able to have these friends that we've never even met. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's crazy. And fortunately, I'll plug it more later. But April 20th through 22nd, we will actually get to meet each other, which I'm super excited about. As I said, details a little bit later on. And Andrew, from when I met him through Brick City, through the network and all that, we instantly just kind of clicked. He's a really, really good guy and very, very easy to get along with. He's funny. He has our sense of humor. He's obviously into Star Wars. I don't know if anybody has caught on that we're kind of into that stuff yet, but it's an important thing. And he's so passionate about it, man. And he's a really sweet guy. All the shout outs he's been giving us recently are just so kind.
Oh,
seriously, I really can't thank him enough for all that, for his support, number one, because he started, and this is a message to everybody listening. Seriously, Andrew started as a fan. He was just someone who liked what we do. And now he's on the network. And that is, something I will always say. It's that easy to be on Rebel Chatter. Just come talk to us, guys. Join the conversation. We've really been this really positive force in the Star Wars community, and people are really taking notice of it. And it's great because in a time where there is so much negativity and all that stuff, it's great to be part of the voice of positivity, and he definitely is a huge player in that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you really brought it up there, Caden, and that's the thing with Andrew that I think has sat with me now for the longest time is that Andrew and I were we were Facebook friends for a while, and it really wasn't until we started having discussions about The Last Jedi, and I find that even the interactions after The Force Awakens jump-started everything. It seems like there's always that period of time where you meet new people and you get to learn so much more about them. Andrew is an exception to that. He's not just somebody that I met, doing Last Jedi conversations or just talking about Star Wars. I mean, we talk about life. We talk about aspects of what we're going through, and we're not afraid to share that. And I think, not just as podcasters or as people who love Star Wars or just, people of common interest, it's important that you interact with people across the board. And I think Andrew is such an exception of somebody who you can just willy-nilly just jump into a conversation with and instantly like this guy, because he just does so many fantastic things for the Facebook community. I mean, his discussion page that he has allows everybody to come in and join in the conversation, post fantastic things on there. And that's exactly what we emanate in what we do. And I can't say it enough. It's really exciting to add Andrew onto the podcast network, have him become part of the family. And big shout out to Andrew in that case, because like you said, Caden, you say it to him all the time, and I've heard you guys say this. We're not done yet. There's so much.
Oh
more.
yeah,
there's so much more.
This is just the beginning.
That's right.
Sure, man.
It's just
but congratulations, Andrew. I'm so happy that you're part of this, man. Not that he wasn't already. You know what I mean? Like he. Now it's just official. And I completely agree with what you were saying. Andrew, it started with Star Wars, which, I mean, can we just say thank you to Star Wars for a second? Like,
yes.
Honestly, for all that it's done for us, much beyond. I mean, these aren't movies to me. It's my life, really.
Yeah.
And I'm just so excited to have another friend that is just, we can talk about Star Wars, sure, but it's not the only thing I talk to Andrew about. You know what I mean? We talk about life. We talk about pretty much everything, man. And Andrew's just, he's such a great guy. I really can't press that enough, guys. So definitely, if you're listening, send him a friend request. Definitely follow Words of the Wills on Facebook, the discussions. Every Wednesday at 8:00, that live stream will be going on. I think actually tomorrow, which will be Tuesday around 8:00.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump on with him and have a conversation. And little spoilers here, guys. The great mysterious Jake Stetler is going to be on most likely tomorrow. So yeah, he's avoided the live streams thus far, but he will definitely be on some Rebel Cause ones here soon. And looking forward to that, man. And
Yeah.
the best thing about about Andrew's live streams is you never really know where the conversation is going to go.
True.
Because he has this great way, and not in like a distracting way, but of throwing you these like segues. That's just like, man, you could be talking about, Ray 1 second, and the next second you're talking about that thing Kyle Katarn did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really is great.
Yeah, and it's a format that I think, obviously was a discussion here at the network for quite some time, that I think is much more adaptable to fandom. Is, as fans, we don't follow the podcasting format in real life. Even though Caden and I, on exception, we kind of just do it anyway because it becomes part of who we are. We feel like we need structure. We need okay, what are we talking about when we do things? But besides that, real life is not like that. When you're having a discussion with somebody, you do make switches. You do randomly just go off on this next part, and we say, oh, but we're just talking about this, but hey, we got to really talk about this, man, because it's been on my mind and I've really wanted to get your perspective on it. And then you sometimes go back to that conversation. Andrew makes the conversation natural. He knows how to keep it the way that fans talk about Star Wars and talk about just being a fan in this world, just that format alone. And it's not something that's scripted. It's something that just comes naturally to him, which is exactly what Brick City is all about. And it's something that it was founded on. Rebel Cause, Rebel Chatter, same thing. Rebel Chatter. Every time I listened to episodes, I was like, wow, this is so free form. Obviously, you had some structure to it here and there, but it was really just that naturally flowing conversation. And I think that's why it's worked so well.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, here's an insider secret, guys. The best way to really do a podcast is sure, make notes, have a topic in mind,
Mm-hmm.
but when I'm about to do a podcast, because Dad and I used to sit down, I would literally write in a notebook on where we wanted to go, topics, all that stuff. Now, I usually get out my phone. I'll put, who our guest is and just a couple questions. You know what I mean? I ask pretty much the same questions every time on Rebel Chatter. I ask, what is your Star Wars story? That's kind of what kicks it off.
Right.
And then if there's points of interest that that I really want to know, sure, I ask those questions. But it's so much more fun, at least in my opinion, to listen to a conversation just between two friends, which Rebel Chatter is totally about, Brick City's totally about, and Words of the Wills is totally about. Still getting used to that name change here. It just happened an hour ago. But and it's great that we occasionally have these, like our Jedi Code series. Those are very, not scripted, but on topic. It's great to just have these conversations because it's easy for anyone just to jump on. Like you said, somebody can just pop on the live stream and be like, oh, they're talking about Darth Revan right now. They're talking about, whoever right this second. I can relate to that. And then the best part about it is, if you do get to a topic on the Words of the Wills live discussions that you're not familiar with, just wait about 3 to 4 minutes.
Yep.
And then it should be on to something that you will probably know.
Isn't that funny that our discussions, Caden, and this is just kind of like, of course, this is like a real informal discussion here, but isn't it funny that, just as founders and creators of podcasts and podcast networks here, that our conversations have come to the point of almost like it's New England weather or like Northeast weather. It's like, just give it a couple minutes. It's going to change, just kind of wait it out,
Oh, absolutely, man. And that's sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say that probably what you're about to say, because we're always on the same wavelength with certain things. It's almost like, it's not necessarily that we're predicting what the fans are thinking at that time, but it's like we pick up on social cues from each other and we pick up on aspects of the conversation. It's like, oh, maybe we should dig into this just a little bit more. Or you know what? Oh, yeah, you know what? Andrew just brought that up or Caden just brought that up. And it's like, I do really want to talk about that right now. And that change in the fluidity, I guess you could say, of that change is just so important, not just to podcasting, but just to engaging people in conversations like right now.
Yeah, man. And you know what a big part of it is? It's about having the right people around you. When I jump on a podcast with you, what was our introduction before we pressed record here? It was, all right, hey, you ready? What are we talking about? No, we didn't even say that. You know what I mean? It was just like, hey, you ready? Let's just do it. And it just kind of starts to come naturally. Like you understand how a conversation progresses, how you need to start a conversation. We have the basic structure in our head. You know what I mean? Intros, conversation, plug time. That's kind of how it goes, at all of our podcasts. And, the middle is the free form part. And it's great to watch Andrew learn this stuff. He's really got it down packed very well.
Yeah, very much.
But it's just, it is really super rewarding just to be around a group of people that have the same ideals. James actually brought up a really interesting point earlier. Mm-hmm. We kind of started to talk about some of the negative vibes in the community. I think we may have had a bit of a rant about that the other evening. Which, we got a little passionate there for a moment, but
sure.
We're, as much as I know these things are being said, the only place that I see that is in the big public Star Wars groups.
Right.
We have surrounded ourselves with people that are lovers of Star Wars, not people, that want to hate on things. And It's just such a positive group of people that we've surrounded ourselves with. And it's really so rewarding because, we're not going to spend time, sitting here talking about, oh, I'm mad about Luke Skywalker dying, whatever, this, that. We really all kind of understand the greater purpose of story points that maybe we don't love, or maybe not everybody loves. And I think the biggest thing is we're doing a little bit more with this than just talking about Star Wars. You know what I mean? It really is. I mean, Star Wars is the overlying thing, but what we do is bring people together. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And allow people to talk. I mean, yes, Star Wars is the meat of that, but through these conversations, like example from my end with Rebel Cause, I actually, which something I want to read then, was kind of talking about it with Rebel Cause. I love that Star Wars has given me the ability to have this outlet to be able to give back to my community. It's a thing that, and I love Star Wars to death. It's my one of my favorite things on this planet, besides like oxygen. And yeah, so and it's great that something so popular that a lot of people can relate to has given me the ability to reach out and to really make a difference.
And I'm just thinking about let's get into this now, Caden, because obviously we haven't really talked about this. Both Rebel Cause and BrickCityBlockade.com podcast network. I mean, it started off as the Brick City Blockade podcast, and then obviously took on this much larger entity, you could say, as it grew. And it's amazing to think, I know we haven't talked about this in depth, but we're both at our 2-year mark. Both Rebel Cause and Brick City. And I want to ask you the question, how has that 2 years been for you as the founder, creator? Obviously, you worked with James and a bunch of other people on making sure that Rebel Cause and Rebel Chatter could happen, along with your dad, Jake. What is it like 2 years later? What is your reflection on it? And what do you really, what are some things that you really want to work towards now that you're heading, maybe into the next 2 years?
That's a fantastic question, man. And I definitely want to hear your perspective with that after I answer it. I can't really picture my life without Rebel Cause now. It's it's given me so much purpose. I really love what I do. You know what I mean? I hear so many people my age complaining about, oh, my life isn't great, this, all that. I absolutely love my life.
Yeah.
I can't really see how I could be happier than I am right now. It's given me an outlet to love Star Wars, which I already did in my own time anyway. But like I said, it's given me the ability to help other people and kind of take my love of Star Wars to the next level.
Yeah.
Instead of just loving these ideals that the Jedi and the Rebels and, the light side of the Force, talk about, I've really been able to do some of these things. I've been able to help people and give people hope. And it's been this crazy, amazing journey that, like, every time something big happens, I'm like, my mind's blown. With each thing that happens, it's just, I can't believe this happened. Like when we had, our first event, for example, ever, 2 people showed up, and I was like, wow, 2 people came. This is amazing. Yeah. And now we have events where 30 some people show up, or more. And, I got signed to network. I became part of the network, which was amazing, just meeting you guys and really connecting. And, I guess to really answer the question of where I want to go, I just want to keep doing more, you know.
Mhm.
We had a really amazing shout out from um, Water Street Rescue Mission, where all of the money we raise goes to help the homeless.
Right.
And, they wrote some very kind words about us, and just seeing, I want to say the most important thing with this with me is the people that have reached out to me through this and been like, hey, you really inspired me. You
Mhm.
really make me want to do good things. I love what you're doing. I can't, I still sometimes don't know how to quite react to it. But it makes me feel really good,
Mhm.
to know that I maybe gave someone hope, um, made somebody make a positive difference, to that made them try a little harder, or not give up, whatever it is, and as we were unloading those boxes, which um, I actually took the shipment over to Water Street from our last food drive, which was just so much stuff
Right.
with my little brother. And my little brother's not a super Star Wars fan. I mean, he likes Star Wars, don't get me
Right.
wrong. Um, but I really wanted him to be a part of it, and he's going to be there at the event on the 22nd.
Oh, great.
But we're unloading all this stuff, and the lady who is the HR rep that we work with through Water Street was like, "Wow, you guys got a lot of stuff! Like, holy crap!" And I was like, "Oh wow." You know what I mean? For a place that gets donations fairly regularly, to be
Yeah.
like, "Wow, you guys really did a lot," made me feel really good. And little moments like when certain people message me and say, "Hey, I just wanted to thank you for what you do for me, and you don't even know that you do it for me." That's what really makes it worth it, and makes me, through all the hard work and all that stuff. And when we got back in the car, my brother and I, after dropping that stuff off, he just kind of looks at me and he's like, "That was really cool." I'm like, "Yeah, wasn't it cool?" You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
a feeling that I urge everybody to, even if it's not getting involved with us, do something like that, because there is nothing better for your soul than to do things for other people, to really help other people. I've said it before. You know, when you're no longer in this world, you become part of the force. People are going to remember those type of things, and the legacy I want to leave behind is a legacy of positivity and love, and someone who really made a difference, or at least tried.
Yeah.
And that's what inspires me. That's a long answer to your question, buddy. But I'd say, to long and short of it, my short term goal is this Christmas. Every Christmas we help a family have Christmas, essentially, or
Yeah.
whatever holiday they celebrate. um, this year's goal is to double that. I would like to help two families. So that's a short term goal for us. Long term, man, just keep going. I mean, at the rate that things are going, I have no idea what's going to be happening a year from now. You know what I mean? And in the best way.
Yeah.
I'm just really excited to see where we are in a year.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, just kind of reflecting on 2 years here at the Brick City Blockade. Um, this network's been through a lot of trials and tribulations. It's been
Yeah.
through a lot of different times where we couldn't crank out content as much as we'd like to, and there are still times where there is a lack in content because we do live lives. We do have things that we have to accomplish to make time to do this, and
Oh yeah, man.
even amongst all of it, our fans have stayed loyal and our fans have stayed true to the message, which is unity is community. And, I still reflect upon Sean Michaud and I sitting down in my old apartment basement, recording those first few episodes, and with a very cheap audio setup, having a hard time getting the Wi-Fi connection so that we could make the streaming possible and recording, and it's quite amazing that within that 2 year span we saw tremendous growth in terms of local events, making connections with different people, not just in the community, but in Star Wars,
Yeah.
which was really, really fantastic. And, their guidance along the way has been simply amazing. And I cannot say thank you enough to those people for all that they've done for us and continue to do for us. And I think as I'm reflecting upon 2 years, and it's amazing to think, I feel like I've been doing this for like 40 years, and it's crazy that it's only been 2 years. I think the biggest piece for me was not necessarily the content in which we pushed out or the guests that we've had on, even though we've had some fantastic guests on. Listen, all you guests that have been on that are probably listening to this, I'm not lessening you. You guys are freaking amazing, and I'm not going to say anything less than that. But the one thing that stands out to me the most of anything is the ability to connect with the community and add a podcast like Rebel Chatter and have Rebel Cause come and join the Brick City Blockade.com podcast network. Because what that does is it shows that, where we are separate from each other, where you're in Lancaster and we're up here in New Hampshire, distance does not matter in that case. There's no such thing as distance when you're talking about fandom. You see that with Star Wars Celebration. You see that with comic book conventions, Comic-Cons. People flock in the thousands to attend those things because they have a passion and want to know people that are like-minded, because usually there's a deeper connection there. So 2 years of Brick City Blockade.com podcast network. Just thinking about those podcast days when that's the only show that existed, and we went through probably 25 episodes of just the regular show before starting to add more content. And it's amazing, just the people that we've met along the way. I still reflect upon it, and I still come back to, Caden, that day when you and I sat down and I video chatted you, and I said, guess what, dude? I said, I have an idea, and I think that you're going to like the idea, and I think that we can make this happen. I think that's probably one of my favorite moments in these past 2 years has been our interactions and our ability to not just, be a positive mindset in the community, but you know what? It was you and I. It was Rebel Cause and Brick City that developed the line "Unity is community." And most recently, I don't know if people had noticed it on Twitter, but shout out to Andy Gutierrez and everybody over there at the Star Wars show from Lucasfilm. But she had recently gone through some fan criticisms, and I'd used the hashtag Unity is community, and I received, and we as a network received some fantastic support with using that hashtag. There was even a point where Unity is community was trending on Twitter with the subject line. So
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I mean, it was for like an hour or two, but I really want to thank the community for that, and just being able to use that hashtag as a way of expressing, that we are there for each other. The ultimate goal is to protect our fandom and to protect each other as fans, no matter whether it's negative or positive. Positivity is great all the time, but you know what? It doesn't always exist in this life. And we have to find that counterbalance, and we have to find a way to support each other, no matter which way it's going to be. So 2 years into the near future, I think, just to kind of wrap up my thoughts on this, because I'm rambling too, I think that what I hope to accomplish specifically this year, Rebel Cause has given such a great format for community outreach that I think BrickCityBlockade.com podcast network can address as well up here. So the goal is ultimately, and I've been looking into this, and I can tell people this now, here on the live, is that we are strongly considering doing some work with Boston Children's Hospital, doing some serious work. I'm a teacher myself, so kids come first, and the education of kids come first in every way possible. Um, Finding unique ways of getting involved in that way, giving these kids a format to look forward to something. So we encourage the community to get involved in that. There'll be many more details coming in the near future. But my goal over these next 2 years, even beyond, I mean, who knows what it, like you said, Caden, what a year will bring.
Yeah.
But my goal is to provide the community not just with fantastic content, but be the network or be the people that walk into a children's hospital or walk into a senior care center or whatever it is, and just make those connections with people and say, hey, you know what? We're not just Star Wars people. We're people. And that's really the ultimate goal here.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. I'm so happy for you with that. I really hope, and let me know what we can do for you
Yeah.
with that. I think Star Wars is a perfect way to connect to kids because, as kids, we look at, our heroes in Star Wars. We look at Luke Skywalker as this larger than life hero. And then as we mature and, and that's the thing about Last Jedi that I don't think people get yet. They're holding on to that Luke Skywalker is a god type of thing. Like he's the absolute hero. Now that we're older, like I relate to Luke Skywalker and the Last Jedi Luke Skywalker probably more than I relate to Episode 4 Luke Skywalker at this point. I get it. It's so much bigger, as he said. And it's just this perfect outlet to really inspire kids and especially kids going through a hard time. And I'm really excited for that. James and I, and you can find this on old videos of us doing our original commercial for Rebel Cause. We had considered getting involved with the Child's Play Network, which I would urge you to look into, which is basically bringing movies and games and fun stuff into children's hospitals. It's a really great group. And I think Star Wars is just such a perfect outlet for that, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And what you were talking about with us having these people around us. The weirdest thing for me is to say the word, like, I have fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really a big fan of saying that.
No, you're right.
Because I gotta be honest, everybody that's a fan of Rebel Cause, and I say that with quotes, they're my friends. You know what I mean? Like, right. I have friends from all over now. And, I guess some of our biggest fans are just some of my closest friends now. You know what I mean? And that really locks in that whole Unity's community thing, because it's not a, hey, I'm up here on this pedestal talking about stuff, hey, listen to me type of thing. It's, hey, I'm talking about this. Come talk about it with me. Let's go hang out. I met Brian Knapp through being, he was a fan of Rebel Chatter and Rebel Cause. And, last Sunday we went and had breakfast together, went on a toy run, just hung out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And, Clyde, I met through this. Brandon, you, Andrew, I can't even think of everybody, to be honest with you.
It's
everybody that I now think of as a good friend or, a Star Wars friend, Mike Hinton, Zoe from Star Wars Geek Girl.
Oh, yeah.
All these people I've just met through this. And I think that is the biggest thing I'm thankful for with this. I obviously it's between being able to give back to the community and help the homeless, and these amazing people I met because, you know, I was, I've said it a couple times before, being a Star Wars fan when I was in elementary school apparently wasn't very cool as it is now. I had some, I don't say bully issues, but I got picked on for liking Star Wars and,
same.
And now it's just like, I have these group of people that I really would have loved to have them there when I was a kid, but I have them now, and it's just this community. And see, that's the biggest confusing thing for me sometimes is this community can be so amazing. And then the flip side of that is we see this negativity, but we've really become a beacon of light within the community that draws all those positive people in. And the negative people, like, we've had some people come on like our live streams and be like, oh, Last Jedi sucked, this and that. And then we're kind of like, yeah, no, it doesn't. Just stop. And then we don't hear from those people again. Yeah. And honestly, I'm not really upset about losing those kind of viewers.
No.
You know what I mean? No. I don't really want people like that on our streams and in our conversations, to be honest with you. If you have a educated, argument, sure. Do I have issues with The Last Jedi? Absolutely. Admiral Akbar should not have gone out like that. No. I don't think he should have. The Last Jedi novelization, however, gives him a little bit more, talk about him a little bit.
Absolutely.
But shout out to Jason Fry. But we talk about it in a positive way. And sure, little things. Dude, I could pick apart parts of, I'm going to say it, A New Hope. I can pick apart parts of Empire Strikes Back.
Easily.
Honestly, go watch A New Hope right now. It's the story that you love. The actual movie itself, it doesn't hold up as well. And people are going to like freak out by saying that. But let's be honest. There are parts of that movie that the pacing's not the best, this, that, whatever. But it's, anyway, before I go too far into that.
No, I think you bring up some real fantastic overall thoughts on, what the right approach to, the fandom and to Star Wars itself. And let me say it right here, right now. I've been thinking here as Caden's been talking, and I've come up with a new phrase, just like unity is community, for the network and for Rebel Cause, and I think everybody shall enjoy it. Instead of the Star Wars fandom, I would like people to address each other as the Star Wars friendom. I think that
I dig that a lot.
I don't think fandom is necessarily, as much as I use it, I don't think that we are fans. I think that we are friends. And I think that we have to look at it that way, that, interactions, we can see somebody, a voice actor, and an actual actor in Star Wars as this higher being, as somebody that we idolize. But at the same time, if we get down to that more personal level and understand them as a human being, we're fans of them, but we're kind of their friends too. That reality really came to me, even though many of us didn't know Carrie Fisher when we lost her. It was like losing a friend. It wasn't even like losing a celebrity.
Man. I can't even. I cried. Like, yes. I haven't cried many times since I've been like an adult, but I cried like a baby, man. Like, like I said, I was picked on for liking Star Wars. I really did not have many friends as a kid. And those were my friends. That was my family. That, it was like my sister died, or you know what I mean?
It hit much more of a personal level in that case. So my call to all Star Wars fans or people in the community is, don't call each other a fandom. Call yourselves a friendom. Call yourself something that is much larger than just fans. It really encompasses everything that, and I'm not saying that as a Brick City person or as a Rebel Cause person, because that's what we do. No, we're saying this, and I'm saying this as people and a person who has sat back and seen itself disintegrate at times and seen people get on each other in a way where it's like, wow, are they truly friends? We start asking those questions of ourselves. Are we just taking this to the nth degree where it should not be going in terms of negativity? And my main point here is, please, guys, please, we are no longer a fandom when it comes to Star Wars. We are a Star Wars friendom. And I'm going to continue to say that along with Unity's community as we go, because I feel like now's the time to address that. And now's the time to say, you know what? It's time to get on a more personal level as a community, because we do share this love for Star Wars. We share this love for each other, more importantly. And I feel as a unified group, we can shift the tides, not just, as much as people say, yep, shift the tides of Star Wars. No, we can shift the tides of the world in which we live in by doing so. And,
Absolutely.
I think that we've been able to create a format for doing that, Caden.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, man. And Andy Gutierrez, we always got your back, girl. Don't worry.
Always got your back, girl. Don't worry at all. We've always finding a way to support Lucasfilm, everything that they're doing, trying to keep that positivity in the community on their end as well. Caden, any final thoughts here before we put a wrap on our little chat here?
You know what, man? I really think the only thing I can think of that we haven't covered is April 22nd.
Ah, yes.
Rebel Cause and Brick City are going to be together in the same room, in the same town, for the next Rebel Cause event, which will take place at Farbo in Lancaster. It'll be at 3 o'clock at 147 East King Street. I think those numbers are right, but you can check it out on the Rebel Cause Lancaster Facebook page under the events. We have the event posted up in there. We're going to have some awesome prizes. We're going to have great trivia, which I'm going to work on after we're done here. And just a bunch of cool stuff. I mean, the Starbecue podcast guys are going to be up. And and those are another great example of people I've met through all this, that we've hung out. I've been in that guy's living room,
Yeah, right.
I've eaten ribs on that man's couch. That means we're friends. And they're going to be coming up and probably doing a little lightsaber demonstration for us, maybe a little teaching thing. It'll be pretty cool. So bring your lightsabers, kids. And we're going to have a great time. And all at the same time, we're going to be supporting the homeless here in Lancaster County. So I definitely look forward to seeing all of you in our friendom out there at the next Rebel Cause event.
It's going to be a fantastic time. Caden and I have been working on this tirelessly, of course, with the support of Mr. James Brown, the voice of the podcast network, and of Rebel Cause, Rebel Chatter as well. It's been a process that we've been kind of sitting back and saying, yeah, you know what, we got to do something together. We've been able to create this community in this friendom of Star Wars fans, you could say, and it's become something so much larger. And just having the ability, of course, taking time off, going down, checking out Lancaster, and finally seeing this man in person. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but Kate and I communicate like every freaking second of the day. We're always talking to each other about life. We're talking about, everything happened. We're brothers from other mothers. And it's been a fantastic journey, and to finally go down there and to experience it for ourselves and be part of what Rebel Cause and Rebel Chatter has established down there. Is just going to be a fantastic time. And we really, really look forward to it. So please make sure to head on over to that Facebook page. If you're able to make it, go on over there, hit that RSVP button. I'm telling you right now, for those of you who are going to go or are thinking about going, and you are going to hit that attending button, all right, it's going to be a little something extra special for you. I've been taking note. I've been taking a look at names. I've been writing them down. there's going to be a little something extra special for you at that event from BrickCityBlockade.com podcast network. So make sure to go on over there, hit that button, share it out, do all that fantastic, fantastic stuff.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. And for all of you listening, just expect that the first time Robin and I actually meet, James too, don't get me wrong, but there will be some live streaming and possibly running into each other's arms. Just stay tuned for that. Stay tuned.
It's basically going to be like twins that were separated at birth and brought to different parts of the galaxy are now going to be brought back together, and it's going to be an emotional, and let me just say this. All right. I remember when Scott Inch came over from Scotland, and I have a feeling this could be the same way. Caden, just kind of like on an offbeat note here. It was funny because when, Sean, James, myself, Scott got off the airplane, and we were expecting Scott to be like, of course, Scott, he's not the most emotional person when it comes to people. And he just kind of walked off. It was funny because we were expecting like big handshake, big hugs. No, we all just turned around and we headed straight for the escalator at Logan Airport and just started talking. And it's funny because it's almost like I knew him for 20 plus years. And I have a funny feeling it's going to be the same way when I get down there. It's going to be, hey, how's it going, dude? Yeah, no, let's get right to work. Let's have a good time. Let's do what we're going to do, And
absolutely, man. Because don't get us wrong, guys. We are going to be hanging out, and there will be some fun. But we are going to be working hard to put out some more awesome stuff for you guys. And we have some great stuff coming, especially from that weekend. So,
yeah,
buckle up.
Get yourself prepared, friendom, because it's going to be a real awesome ride on April 22nd. We're really excited again for everything happening there. Caden, it's that time of the show, my friend. It's a little thing we like to call
plug time.
I know I caught you off guard there. All right, my friend, where can the good people find everything that you're doing down there in Pennsylvania across social media?
Well, you can find Rebel Cause Lancaster on Facebook at Rebel Cause Lancaster and on Instagram under that same name. You can find our podcast, Rebel Chatter, at rebelchatter.com and on iTunes and all the other great podcast listening apps across the galaxy. And you can find us, of course, on, this is your cue to go, Robin?
On the BrickCityBlockade.com podcast network.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you for queuing me up there, Caden. I was starting to fall off on that one. That's why he's here, guys. That's why he's here. But you guys can follow me over on Twitter at Mr. Vote Tweets. Please make sure to head on over to Instagram. Follow me at The Official Vote. Please head on over, like Caden queued me up, www.brickcityblockade.com for everything happening in that galaxy far, far away. Also, please, again, with the BrickCityBlockade.com podcast network, make sure to check us out across all the fantastic podcasting apps. You know the spiel: iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play. Subscribe, rate, comment. We want to hear your opinions on all the fantastic content that we try to put out. And you know what? If we're doing a real sucky time and a real sucky job on our stuff, let us know that too, because that's really important, guys. Also, please make sure to head on over to TeePublic, pick up one of our awesome t-shirts over there. They help support the podcast network. They allow us to do epic events and also give back to the community at the same time.
Absolutely. I definitely suggest that the Unity is Community shirt. I just got one.
And it looks fantastic on Caden, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks. But thank you guys so much for all that you do. We cannot say it enough. You guys are what are the heartbeat of everything happening at the podcast network. Of course, I'm speaking for Rebel Cause and Rebel Chatter in Lancaster. You guys are the heartbeat, and you are the people who make everything happen and give us the purpose to keep spreading the word and to keep spreading the voice at the same time. Remember, you are the Star Wars friendom. Thank you guys so much for listening. Caden, thank you so much for this chat, my friend. Of course, so many more conversations in the near future. I can't say it enough. It's an exciting journey.
It really is, man.
Awesome, guys. Thank you once again for listening. And as we always say here at the Podcast Network, may the Force be with you.
Always.
Always?
Always.
You're sure about that?
Always. Are we still live?
What?
Are we still live?
I think so.
Oh, yeah, always. I've said always like 3 times. I promise.
Are you sure?
Always am sure.